Hi, everybody. On behalf of Accu-Stats Video Productions, we'd like to welcome you back to the 37th U.S. Open 9-Ball Championships. We're coming to you live here from the beautiful Holiday Inn Virginia Beach in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And this is day number 4 of our 7-day event. We began with 220 players. There's approximately 180 players still alive in the tournament. At this time, we'd like to take a moment to express our great appreciation to the sponsors that have made this event possible, starting with our host, of course, Q-Master Billiards, Diamond Billiard Products, Aramuth Belgian Billiard Balls, Simonis Cloth, the Delta 13 Rack, back with us for a second year, the Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company, and the City of Virginia Beach. Thank you all for your support. And of course, the most important people that have supported us for 37 years, each and every one of you sitting here, the greatest pool fans in the world. Thank you all very, very much. What an incredible matchup we have for you right now. So let's get underway and introduce our 2 players. Our first player is originally from Fulda, Germany. He now resides in Jacksonville, Florida. This gentleman is the 2003 World 9-Ball Champion. He's a 2005 BCA Open 9-Ball Champion. In 2011, he won the Philippine Open, and he's a 2-time World Straight Pool Champion. He's sponsored by Q-Pod, Lucasi, Kamui, and Simonis. It's the Hitman himself, Mr. Thorsten Hohmann. Thank you very much. His opponent, from Angeles City in the Republic of the Philippines. This man has a resume far too long to list in the time that we have, but among his great accomplishments include a U.S. Open 9-Ball Championship, a World 9-Ball Championship, 3 World 8-Ball titles, and he's the only man in history with 5 Derby City World All-Around Master of the Table titles to his credit. He's sponsored by Puyat Sports, San Miguel Beer, and Jack Justice Cases. He's a member of the Billiard Congress of America Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the most famous name in the game. It's the magician, Efren Reyes. All right, gentlemen, go ahead, please lag. This is a race to 11, rack your own format. This is winner's side action. At this time, we'd like to send it up to the booth to Jim Weish and his guest, Bill Gibbs. Take it away, guys.
Well, the important lag, Mr. Gibbs, is Efren on the right and Thorsten Hohmann on the left. Contest it, and Efren knew right away that he had won that lag.
Well, this is going to be exciting.
It is. It is. You've got a tactician, a finesse player up against a hitter, and a player that is supremely confident in Thorsten Hohmann and a great potter.
Well, you know, we're doing the interview show this week, and I ran into Thorsten in the hallway. He's one of the guests that I'm going to have later on in the week, talking about the break. And he's one of the players that believes pounding those balls is the way to move them.
Well, I'll tell you what, if anybody was around, and I know Efren was here, Thorsten for a little while, watching the Bustamante-Immonen match as Reyes takes the cue ball, the table was breaking very well. There were only 2 dry breaks in the entire match.
And from your stats there that you take, who was breaking better?
Well, Mika when he got on a roll. Here it is, rack number 1, using the cut break, trying to get that 1 into the side pocket, and as soon as I tell you how easy the table's breaking, there you go, first dry break.
Well, he also parked the cue ball behind the 5 ball down there at the end rail, so I think we'll see a push here.
He kind of lost the cue ball. A lot of people have said over the years that if Efren Reyes has a weakness, and it's a very small one at that, but it would be the break.
And I think the key element there is your emphasis on a small one. When Efren gets on a roll, he really doesn't break badly, I don't think, at all. And a lot of people accuse him of that, but I think it's unjustified. Hohmann's got a little bit to do here.
Yeah, I mean, his concern is pushing into an area. I mean, when you're playing somebody like Efren, you know, you just don't want, you know he's going to see shots you're not. That's a given. But you don't want to push into something that, you know, you're not sure what to do, because you can bet your life he will be.
Yeah. Yeah, yesterday in that interview that I did with Alex, that was the first thing he mentioned when I'm playing Efren one pocket, for example. I don't want to try to outthink him because he is going to outmove me. I really thought that was a concession coming from one of the greatest one pocket players on the planet.
Well, and that's the same situation here. Thorsten has to try and turn it into a shootout. That's his best chance. Both world champions, and both won that event in Cardiff, in Wales. A nice little finesse shot, that one from Efren. Now, has Thorsten got enough of that cushion to be able to flick the one in off the cushion?
You know, it looks to me like he has got a pretty good shot.
He's looking roughly. If he does get it, the cue ball is going to track up the left-hand side of the table. Or left hand as he looks, and it's all about the speed too, because there's no point in going after the one if you're not going to have shape on the two.
I agree with that, but from the position he's got on the two, should he come straight up table even, which he's done, I think he's going to have to play safe from here. But he's got a little nicer safe from here.
I concur.
I think he can just drift down to the end rail there and come up behind the 5. Knock the 2 out in between the 8 and the 4. Hohmann's a good finesse player himself when it comes to this type of safety struggle in 9-ball. I wouldn't say better than Efren. He went clear over behind the 7 and just left the ball close.
Yeah, you know how well Efren kicks. He and Bustamante, renowned as two of the best kickers in the game.
Well, he doesn't have anything really easy to deal with here.
Yeah, this is tough. 2 cushion escape. He's got to be hitting just before the side pocket on the right.
Well, I'd like to say right now he hasn't left much, but he will be behind balls when Hohmann ends this shot.
And we get a chance too when Thorsten's in amongst the balls. I've got to show you his chalk. Q-Pod is one of his sponsors, and that's a gentleman named Michael White, who is of British descent, now living in Vienna.
Right.
But his chalk holder is solid gold.
You know, I ran into them in the hallway yesterday, and Thorsten and Hunter Lombardo introduced me to Michael White, and he opened up that case with all the different chalks in there. And I looked at it and I said, so are those sterling silver? He goes, no, those are just aluminum. I'm actually making them out of 24 karat gold. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, well, that's Thorsten's is solid gold and reputed to be worth $5 grand for a chalk holder. Don't leave that on the table when you're done practice.
Yeah, that's a little rough, isn't it?
We'll see if we can show it to you, because he does use it. I mean, it's no point in leaving it in your room if they're one of your sponsors. I mean, you got to show it off. There it is, solid gold. How about that?
That's something. He's hit the 9. Bad hit.
Yeah, that was a tougher hit, that one. Much tougher hit. And ball in hand now for Thorsten.
With the balls wide open. Yeah, the 3 balls, he's got to get a little bit of position here for the 3. But once he's on the 3, it's a pretty nice laying table.
Very similar to the other German players, you know, the Ralf Souquets, Oliver Ortmans, Thomas Engert, Ralph Eckert. They're very stoic. You'll see very little emotion. I mean, they're machine-like, diligent practicers, and obviously stress fundamentals, sound fundamentals. When Thorsten won the world title in 2003, he actually beat Alex Pegulayan in the final. He was 1,000 to 1 to win the tournament that year.
Really?
Yeah. And
I did not know that.
And one guy had bet him at 1,000 to 1. I wish I knew what he did.
Boy, I'm telling you. Well, you know, the other night, just on line with what you're talking about, in the Rhoda match, I ran into somebody who bet Rhoda for $20 at 80 to 1.
What, to win the tournament?
No, to win that match.
What?
They had him at 80 to 1.
Well, who would give him 80 to 1? I mean,
I didn't get into any of that.
Well,
I just said, "You're kidding, right?" And he said, "No, it was Lee Brett that bet the."
Yeah,
that
for
made the
a
bet.
guy to get 80 to 1, you guys got to be blind on one leg.
He didn't know who Rhoda was. It has
One
to be.
arm.
He was sure Ortman was going to win.
Yeah, I'm not Billy. I would have questioned the authenticity of that one. Nobody gives 80 to 1 on a match. That's
Lee
silly.
Brett's the one that took the bet.
Yeah, that's silly.
And I was like, "Geez, how come you didn't come find me?" That was the first thing I said to him. Well, Hohmann's way on his way here.
Yeah, perfect on the 6. 7 doesn't have to do any work. And important, to get off the mark and establish a little bit of dominance in a match, especially when you're playing somebody like Efren. He is a superstar all over the world. When I was living in Henderson in Nevada, where I used to get my hair cut, it was a Filipino lady that cut my hair.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she knew who Bata was. They all know.
Well, we stayed for years over at the other place in Chesapeake. And the lady there at the counter, Lynn, she wanted to meet, one of the other Filipino stars, Bustamante, but any of those people are very familiar with.
First rack goes to the Hitman. He, with the $5,000 chalk holder, 1-0 he leads.
But I think that's really a testament to how seriously the Filipinos, take that sport. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and if you've ever been there, Billy, and I've been over to the Philippines and done events and been to the clubs, I mean, there's just a plethora of players over there. It's just nonstop, hot and cold running pool players coming out of the woodwork.
I like that.
And the conditions they play under compared to what they see over here, this is Hollywood for them.
Yeah, they're a little damper and a little dirtier.
A lot.
And they actually, I've seen pictures of players playing on tables, and they have a little gimmick there that I really kind of find fascinating. No cloth on the rubber.
Rack number 2, already the beneficiary of winning the first rack. Hohmann settles into the break. And just like Efren, no, he's got the 2 in the corner pocket, nicely on the 1. So that cut break worked perfectly there. Everything in the open.
Now, if Efren faces much of this, he will be in difficulty quickly. That 1-0 deficit will seem like a paradise. Because Thorsten's got no problems here that I can see.
And Thorsten, obviously a fitness fanatic. He was at one point in the German army. And Efren is coming up on his 59th birthday.
It's such a joy to watch him play, though. You just never know what you're going to see. I saw a couple of shots the other night when he was playing Appleton that were just incredible. And I'd watch the whole match, even if Efren loses, to watch him hit a couple of shots like that. He's another one we remarked earlier that, Earl's quite an entertainer.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Hohmann's come far enough here, and he just knocked his the cue putt down on the floor.
Yeah, he's come short.
Geez, he had a ton of room with which to work. The last thing he needed to be was short, just under hit that. This is a major let-off. If he can't get through to this.
No, he definitely cannot. The 6 is in his way. He's got to come up with something here. I'm looking straight at the shot from the booth up here. And he may be able to just flick the middle of the ball enough that with heavy right-hand spin, he can make this shot. But it's going to take every bit of that. He's going to have to heavy right. Yeah, heavy left. I'm sorry. I'm looking at it backwards. I'm looking at him and not me.
Yeah, he's playing safe now. No, he had plenty of room. He didn't really check the cue ball off the cushion at all. Maybe that was a little bit of a move. You know, giving Efren a little bit of false hope. And, yeah, gamesmanship's part of the game. You know, you can make your opponent think that you're in all kinds of trouble, and then you park him in his chair, and he's wondering what the problem was. And no obstacles now for Hohmann.
He just wants to come get on the 7. Really, with the 8 sitting, it really matter where he is on the 7. Something must have sharked him in the crowd there, somebody. I see Earl out in the crowd watching this match.
Earl always comes out to see Efren Reyes. I mean, the history between those two, legendary.
Well, and he had quite a enjoyable match this morning with Rob Saez, too.
For a 2-0 lead. Down it goes. And Hohmann having it all his own way right now. And with the winner breaks, just to let our folks at home, if they're just joining us and might not know the rules, if you make the 9, or sorry, with the winner racking and winner breaking, if you make the 9 in either of the 2 bottom corner pockets, it's respotted. Either of the 2 wing pockets, it's put back on the spot, counts as a ball down. You continue on, but if you make it in any one of the other 4 pockets, it's a rack win. And also, 3 balls have to go by the middle pockets.
Yeah, I'm glad they changed that. Originally said by the head string.
Yeah, and every ball pocketed counts as a ball having gone by the middle pockets. And if nothing else, that's just to take the soft break away. Rack number 3, a 2-0 lead. Never let your guard down against Efren, though, nor will he.
No, actually, the year that Efren shot the perfect match against Jimmy Wetch, I said the wrong thing. I'm sorry, I'm looking right at you.
Thinking, when did I play him?
Well, you almost beat him when you played him, but he played Mika previous to that, was what I was going to say, and Mika took off to a 2-0 lead. Efren came back and beat him 7-2.
Well, he made a ball on the break here, Thorsten, but he's got no friends on the 2, locked up behind the 3, so he'll be pushing here. Well, I say he's pushing. He's pretty close to that 3. I can't see him trying to jump this.
I wouldn't like jumping here.
Just pushing down by the corner, I think.
That's what I was trying to look at, is whether or not that. I think the 2 will pass the 7. I'm not convinced of that, though. Those pockets are very tight. I hit some balls on this table last night, and the pockets are a lot tighter than what they look on the TV. They haven't changed dramatically from what they were, but it seemed to me like the balls, when you take 2 balls and put them into the pocket, they go only about 1/8 of an inch past the points, where before they were going in about 1/2 an inch. And that's pocket angle.
Well, what's he doing here?
Looks like he's pushing to the end rail.
Putting the 4 up to the 6.
Doing that.
And giving Efren the long 2.
It must not pass the 7.
Obviously, he's put the 4 into the tall grass. But I wonder if he'd have played a shot like this against a 30-year-old Efren Reyes.
Well, I don't know he's got the best of this just yet anyway. Efren may be able to shoot a shot here.
Yeah, I think this 2 goes. It's not a full pocket, but I think what Thorsten's done here is he's really thrown down the gauntlet. He's challenging him because safety here is no tougher than the shot. So if you're going to fire, you might as well go.
You know, and as you said, he likes to fire. So maybe he's hoping Efren will give it back to him.
Oh, good news, bad news. Maybe the 2 didn't go after all, Billy, the way that he played that billiard. Got the 7, but couldn't control position to the 2. Now kicking off the side cushion.
Well, he's gotten underneath the balls, but I think he's left a little bit on the 2 there. Well, if you're Thorsten Hohmann and you want to shoot, you've got a bank here, but I don't know that I favor that. The 4 will go by the 6, though, Jim. It looks like that's passable, but it's not totally tied up. It looks like there's enough room to go down that rail. We'll find out soon enough. You might want to put the cue ball over there on the 6 now. Didn't quite get there. Well, he's left Efren a shot.
Tough, though. Very tough shot.
I started to say pretty good shot, but I withheld that after looking at it. Because I think if he makes that 2, just dropping down below the 3 may prove a little difficult. And if he misses it, he sells out the rack.
He's left Thorsten a chance here. He won't be happy with that effort. And Thorsten can use the 9 to try and hold for position on the 3.
Absolutely. I like that right off the bat. He's going to hit that 9 depending on how he decides to slice this 2. He could hit it thinly if he uses follow, but I think he wants to hit it on that inside edge, that inside right-hand edge. He's looking at that 4-6, it looks like, Jim.
Well, that 4, he was the one that put it there simply as an insurance policy. Well, he's not going at this. He's playing safe. A little surprised here. One thing about Hohmann that I've noticed over the years is that when the aggressive option presents itself, more times than not, he takes it. And time will tell if that sort of tactic proves the successful one. I would try and avoid getting into any kind of battles of this kind with Efren at all costs. But again, you know, we don't always see the shots in the booth the way they see him down there, and what looks like the angle to be able to do something. You know, when a player gets over the shot, it may not be the ideal angle.
Well, Efren's got the 2-rail kick here. But he's looking at the 1-rail kick.
Oh, that's the worst result possible.
Yeah, he hit the 6.
Worst possible result.
Well, did I miss something there, Jim, with that 2-rail kick to the 2? Did that not seem like the better shot?
Well, I'm not going to try and second guess what Efren does. I mean, it wasn't an easy hit, the 1 cushion escape that he chose. But he obviously saw that it quite likely provided better chance for a safety if he hit the 2. I know the last thing he wanted to do was move the 6.
Yeah. And Thorsten doesn't have much of a problem with this rack at this point. 4 to the 5, and it's pretty much in the history books, I believe. He'll draw back here, I'm sure. Just looking at the angle he wants to get to the 4. 5, I mean, excuse me, the angle for the 4.
Well, he's not going to have much.
No, he came over a little straighter than he wanted to there. But he did lay on the rail, so he got a little something to work with if he draws this ball. These pockets aren't very friendly, though, when you have to pound the ball with draw.
One thing in introducing Thorsten that Ken Schumann didn't say is that he and his partner Ralph Souquet have also won the World Cup. You know, teamed up together and won that in the Philippines last year. This year that event was won by Mika Immonen and his partner Petra Markkanen. Yeah, that's what happens when you try and force him on this diamond table. It'll spit him back.
And that was totally inside of the points of the pocket. But that rubber is very resistant to anything coming in there quick. And there's a lot of slate on that table that goes deep into that pocket. So just anything doesn't fall. And that was hit pretty daggone well.
There's one thing that all the players will say about a diamond table is it is consistent. You do have to hit the ball in the pocket.
Well, they've improved this table just about as much as I think a playing surface can be. He keeps doing little things to it to make it better. You know, the blue labels are different than the red labels. These are the blue labels we're playing on. And I came down last night just to see how tough the pockets were. I did a match with Brittany Bryant yesterday, and she was doing exactly that. So was the gentleman she was playing with. Everything just wouldn't fall. And they're really tough pockets if you hit the ball at speed with either force follow or force draw. You have to hit in the hole, not anywhere near the facing. When you're coming in from that blind angle, if it hits the facing, it will spit right back out. If it's especially force draw with that force follow on the object ball. These are great tests of real playing ability. Well, Efren had no problem there.
No, and this was an important rack. He's got to try and keep Thorsten guessing a little bit. Secures his first rack. And Efren Reyes will have the break in rack number 4. It's a 2-1 lead still to Thorsten Hohmann. But the magician will have to conjure something up. There's an unforced error. This 4 down the cushion for Thorsten here.
Let's see what our camera angle saw. Oh, he hit the rail. He hit the rail before it got to the pocket. So even though that hit inside the point, it was coming at an angle where it was going to be rejected.
2-1, Thorsten's lead. Bata Reyes hit him a little harder that time. And he's going to have a shot at the 1. Beautiful. Now you'd like to remember exactly what he did there.
Yeah, 2 balls on the break and straight in a shot on the 1. Got to come up with something for the 2 here, though, I believe. Not sure what that answer is, though.
Yeah, he may just have to draw it straight back. If he's dead in, he doesn't have any option. Just draw it straight back and try and get dead in on the 2.
Just kind of float down with a little follow for the 3.
Yeah, he's got to get the... Well, it looks like the way he's cueing, he might have a bit of angle here, Bill. No, none. He needs that cue ball back. Well, that should be all right. A little further would have been better.
Well, when he shot that perfect 1,000, he's not quite as close to the edge of that pocket as it looks on the monitor. I can see on the table he's got about 3/4 of an inch. He may be able to just spot out here just a bit. Just float right out like that. Very nicely done. The one thing I enjoy watching about Efren so much is his speed control. He always has the proper speed on everything, it seems like.
Excuse me.
2 rails back up to the 4 there. Nicely done as well there. I'm sure he'll just draw back a little bit here. Get right back to where he's at right now about would be perfect. That's just about where he is. Came a little bit beyond the point, but that poses no threat at all. If you get straight in here on the 8, it's ideal.
I'm marking it down.
You know, when he falls across the center line of the table like that, that's something a lot of younger players, for you younger players out there, on a 9-foot table, better to be on that side of the side pockets than beneath them, because you're not leaning as far and you've got a much better bridging.
How many times in his career has he done this? A break and run out. Bata Reyes back to 2-2 with Thorsten Hohmann. That missed 4 a couple racks ago has allowed Reyes back into this match.
Well, as I remember it, when he played Jimmy Wetch, it was a break and run out 7 times. Well, that's not true, because he actually played safe twice in that match.
Yeah, it's okay. You can lie a bit.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pull you on it.
Well, I will say this: it was a joy to watch him do it over and over again. I've seen that about 100 times.
The 5th rack in the race to 11, a winner's bracket match here. So the loser still hangs around. He just has to take the overland path. And 2-2 the score. Well, a little different break there. He didn't cut the break the way he did earlier, and he still got a shot at the 1. So now he's got a couple formulas for success with the break. And I'll tell you what, the balls are sitting pretty good again. He's got the 6, 7, and 8 all up at the top end of the table, so he won't have to move the cue ball around much if he gets up there on the 6.
Now, when he comes off this rail, does he want to bump?
No, doesn't want to touch anything.
Came right back.
And he'll just float this down towards the 3. Very important to have an angle on that 5, because the key shot will be from the 5 to the 6.
Right.
And that's what he's coming to look at now. And the way that he's played this, I think he's looking at the 5 into the side pocket. Yeah, I think he might be better advised to play the 5 into the corner. It all depends on the angle he's got here. Into the side, and you won't be able to force it too much. Into the corner, you can play off that side cushion and take the cue ball up for the 6. Yeah, he'll play this into the corner. Straight top spin. You like that cue ball to target the 8. But obviously that's the danger ball. Tell you what, he was queuing up at that as though he was going to play it into the side. I can't believe he's going to play this in the side. Yeah, he looks like it, doesn't he? He's perfect to play it into the corner.
I think he's thinking about it just because he can get down on the 6 and head right for the 8 like you were talking about.
Yeah, now he's playing it in the corner.
I like that better. Perfectly it.
This was the only danger. This was the only danger, and I'll tell you what, Efren knew it. And that's the only reason he even considered playing that 5 into the side pocket. That was the only thing that could go wrong, is just overhitting it. Anywhere but there. Yeah, leaning to try and get that 6 behind the 8.
Yeah, he didn't quite get there on that.
Yeah, he knows that was a major let off.
cue ball is on the end rail. So it's going to be difficult for Thorsten to get back to the 7. He's going to have to come up with a little bit of angle here somehow.
Yeah, he's taking a lot of time. It's a big moment, big shot too. He's got a chance to kind of impede Efren's progress.
Well, he's gone for a jump cue.
And that tells me he's going to try and knock it in. He's just got to get over the edge of the 8. If he's going to jump at this, then he's targeting the 6 into the corner.
I don't think that'll get it done.
Well, it will for Efren.
That's for sure. I think you'll have to draw back out here, though. Draw to the end, the side rail, and back out into the tail. But that's going to bring the 8 into play too.
Yeah, he's got to. If he does play to draw this, he's got to draw below the 8. So he'll play a lot of right-hand spin.
Did it very nicely.
Yeah, there was no trouble there. But he needs to leave himself a nice angle on this 8.
Yeah, with a 9 ball near that middle diamond, he does want to get down to the large side of the end rail. Short side's no good.
Well, if he's left-handed, this would be easy.
He is reaching a bit here. I think he heard you, Jim. And he played to the short side.
He's going to be relieved to win that one. After the bad positional shot, getting the victory in that rack, he can forget it now. 3-2 his lead. And he hasn't been in front in this match till now.
Well, let's see if he can find that same magic on the break this time. If he makes a ball or two on the break, he's a danger to be off and running pretty quick.
Rack number 6, the race to 11. And 3-2, Efren's lead. Cut break.
And a friendly kiss there. Almost not the second time, though. But that was tracking right for the corner pocket.
Yeah, Thorsten looking on, kind of a blank stare. This will test your nerve, a shot like this.
Yeah, as far as some of the people that say Efren has old eyes or whatever, well, we're about to find out how his eyes are doing today. He makes this, he's going to come up on the
I think Efren did get the laser surgery to his eyes, though, Billy.
The LASIK surgery?
Yeah, it was a few years ago. But I seem to remember him doing something. He tried to make that, but he also played it at a speed where I think he felt pretty comfortable he wasn't going to leave it if he missed it.
Well, Hohmann's going to go 2 rails at this, I have no doubt. He could go 1 rail and try to bounce it off the side rail and hit it easy and bring the cue ball into the 9 and the 1 ball above the 9. But I think he'll hit it a little firmer than that. Send the 1 ball up table.
He may try and even hit the top side of the 1 and send the cue ball up table.
Yeah, he just looked at that, as a matter of fact, just as you said it.
Got to be very precise here. Oh, he definitely tried to hit the top side of that, but that wasn't Thorsten's best effort.
Yeah, that's a difficult shot. If you come in underneath of it, hit it 2 rails, the cue ball's at least tracking over towards the middle of the table, and the 1 ball heading upstream. And with 4 balls sitting there, you got a pretty good chance of getting behind one of them.
Ladies and gentlemen, just want to announce that our competitor is coming in on table number 2. It's a 3 o'clock match, undefeated side.
Well, Efren's got a pretty good route here, I think. Once he's past this 2 ball and up the table just a bit through the 3, got a natural angle to come right back down for the 4. And the impediment that the 2 presents currently will be gone. All he has to do is just hit this and draw up straight up the table a little bit. Like
it's kind of funny though, Billy. You hear the applause because Ken Schumann is just announcing a few other matches, and everybody hears applauding. Efren's probably thinking, "Well, I haven't shot yet."
They've learned so much that they just know that he got a good angle there. Well, he's going to spin around, come into that 3rd rail. Boy, he's hit it too hard, Jim. Dropped underneath the ball.
He's actually not too bad, and he's looking to the stars. Now that is trademark Efren Reyes. You know, that sheepish grin? That's what we'll all remember from him.
He'll probably play this in the corner because of that position.
A little short, but not bad, not bad.
Tag this and float out towards the center there a little bit.
On many of the players' profile sheets, when asked who their favorite player is, this guy's on about 70% of them.
And I bet almost 100% of the Filipino player. I think one of the greatest compliments I've heard is what Alex said about him yesterday in the interview. I mean, that kind of admiration from a great player.
He's so respected. The only knock that I ever hear from Efren, and it's from Bustamante and Alex and, you know, the other great Filipino players, that they can't stand that they have to cook for him all the time. Seniority. 9 goes down, and that confirms a 4-2 lead. Bata taking advantage of a pretty easy miss from Thorsten Hohmann with regards to the kick.
Well,
and he's breaking for the 4th time in a row.
And let's see how that break yields for him. You know, Freddie Benavegna said one time, he said, you know, taking Efren on the road's a good deal. All you have to do is buy a box of Uncle Ben's rice and a couple of fish heads. And he was serious. He said he wouldn't eat anything but white rice. I think that was when he first came over here, though.
Rack 7. That's a 4-2 lead for Reyes. Well, dry break. The first since the opening rack.
And the balls have stayed together a little bit as well there on the side rail. The 2 and the 4. This rack's going to take a little creativity on Hohmann's part. I might send the 1 ball 2 rails down table and go behind the 8 for cover with the cue. And just let Efren deal with that for a moment. And especially if he can shorten that angle up on the 1 ball and get it over there close to the 2 and the 4.
No, this is all about getting a momentum swing. He's got to attack here, Bill.
Break him up right now.
Well, if he can get by the 2, he can play it into the side.
He's done that.
You know, sometimes it's worth taking a shot just to send a message to your opponent that, you know, you have no fear.
Well, he's looking at that 3-9 carom, I believe, or whether the 3 goes past the 9.
Yeah, I've got a feeling the 3 passes. And just feathering the 4 out to the middle of the table a little bit. That's perfect. And now every chance to grab the rack here.
Yeah, the 5 sitting there in a nice position too. He's hit the 5.
Yeah, that's not a very good shot. He's lucky.
Got a little. He got away with it.
He's lucky.
Well, the only thing he doesn't want to do here is come off the end rail and come anywhere near the 9. Nothing useful can go on there.
Yeah, he may just go up and down the middle of the table, play the 6 into the corner.
That's what he's done.
Well, he's just trying to get behind the 6.
Draw over the rail probably and back out. I'd like to be below the 7 here, though.
I'll tell you what. He was up off the cue. He did not think he made that. And neither did I.
A couple of ways you can play this shot. I might like to lay on the side rail, you know, coming into the 8, just to get that angle so I can drop right onto the 9. He may play it so he can come 1 rail to it. That's what he did.
Yeah, don't be leaving that $5,000 chalk in the wrong end of the table, Thorsten. Yeah, slightly underhit this too.
It might be $5,030, Jim.
Tax.
No, it might be Kamui chalk.
Yeah, just settling himself. Very important. He knocks this in. And he does. A vital rack. Pulls one back, 4-3. This is going to be a close match. And it's going to be a very tough one to call.
Well, Efren's, how do the stats look? Efren's break hasn't been the problem in this match, has it?
No. No, it hasn't. Efren is breaking pretty well. The table's breaking pretty well. Thorsten hasn't had a dry break yet. He's broken twice and made a ball both times. Won one of his breaks and lost one.
And Efren's broken dry twice?
Yeah, the very first rack and the last.
And there's a picture of his chalk. That is Kamui chalk in there.
Never mind the chalk. I like the holder.
As broke as I am.
Beautiful. Q-Pod. That's his sponsor, Qpod.com, if you want to check it out. And that's the letter Q. Thorsten over the other side of the table. 4-3 the score. I'd love to see a good break here. Well, second dry break for him.
I was just about to say that wasn't the break that he needed right there. But Efren doesn't have a lot to work with here. Not a lot to stop with. He's looking at cutting this in?
No.
I can't see that.
No, he's not. He's
got to come down here behind the 3 and the 9, that area, right?
He's thinking very evil, if you're Thorsten. I mean, this is just distance. He wants to put a little distance. When he cues up like that, he's trying to get the cue ball down behind the 9.
Yeah, I like that.
And now he's just going to feather up, I think. Feather up to the 6. Well,
6.
He got there.
Yeah, Thorsten's going to have to lean over the table to one rail kick this. But if he makes, I'd get the crutch on this.
I think he will.
I think that I'd like to see that one ball just make a hit on, as we look at the screen, the right-hand side of the one ball, and just try to lay on that 4 with the cue. Hit it about nice, slow to medium speed.
Felt like that, Bill?
That would be picture perfect.
Well, you wrote it. He showed it.
And I'm glad it was him doing that part of it too. You know, that's the one thing I do notice about the European players. They are very smart about what to do and when. They really don't miss out on the safety play.
They're good under pressure. All the European players, they play on the European Tour events, and you know, they're no strangers to the competitive arena.
Ooh.
Good shot from Efren. Kick that down here. He may not like his next shot, but at least he's bought a bit of time.
Yeah, I think that Hohmann has a real easy escape here. Put Efren in jail. This ball lays extremely well to be on the backside of the 9 when this shot's over. But from where he was, I think he did a real good job just to make a good hit like that.
Watch the 9.
Think you'll play it here?
Yeah, I do.
Certainly do.
Yeah, I do. What a shot.
Nice ball.
And the reason being, he knew he was taking the 1 up to the safe end of the table. But still, what a great billiard that was. What a billiard that was from Hohmann. And if that isn't worth another look, nothing is. Look at the distance between the 1 and the 9. In this case, what you're trying to do is you're trying to play the cue ball into the corner pocket because the 9's in the path. So you just try to play the scratch. But look, if he missed it, Efren didn't have to like his shot.
The 4 and the 6 were both in the way. That was very nice.
And back to 4-4. So it's kind of to and fro here.
Now let's see what kind of response we get on the break here.
4 apiece. Hohmann and Reyes. The race to 11 heating up. Oh, he crunched those, parked the cue ball. And look at everything's the top side of the table and nothing down. And he hammered those.
The 4-5 looks like it's laying pretty well to go to the corner pocket. So Efren's got a good shot to get started with. A nice shot into the corner, the upper right-hand corner. Pretty natural shapes off the end rail for the 2. And he wants to get below this ball so that he can float back down for the 3 nicely.
Yeah, he's got the right angle to do that. And the 4-5 offers what looks to be a dead combination into the corner. He's having a look at the possible bank, but that combination looks dead set.
Well, I sure like the combination here. Just a little bit of angle. I don't put him on it. I got a little more of it I liked, but I think he can just float this 3 ball in. He didn't have to hit it real hard.
He's got to play the combination here. Just feather this in with a little bit of left-hand spin.
Yeah, I like spin here just to kill the speed a little bit. Stop nicely for
not
that.
bad, not bad. It's not exactly where he wanted. He's showing you. He wanted that cue ball out more to the middle of the table, but he kind of overcut the 3 a little bit. And that's the reason the cue ball carried on up the left-hand side a little more than Efren wanted. But he should still get this. And the 4 should be hanging around that side.
The angle on the 4 was the issue, I think, because here he's going to have the cue ball coming out towards the center of the table, and the 4 is going to be heading over towards the rail a little bit. He's going to hit a little bit. I don't think he'll hit this softly now. I think he'll hit a little firmer. And he's got plenty of angle here to get back across for the 6. That should have opened the rack up well enough that he'll have no problems from here on out. I just like his speed so much. He always hits everything just at the right speed. That combination, such an excellent example of that. Have you got this one in the books already, Jim?
This one's in the books. I'll tell you something else that's a little strange this year with Efren. Unseeded. They seeded 32 players. He wasn't one of them.
Wow.
And do you think he wants to make him pay for that? Back in front, 5-4. It's a pretty slim margin for the lead, but better 5-4 in front than 5-4 down. But more importantly, he knows he's breaking in rack 10.
Absolutely.
Yeah, imagine him not being seeded in a pool tournament.
Well, what I started to think was, I wonder who his first player was. I wonder how Archer would have liked it if he'd have drawn Efren first, unseeded.
Any seeded player drawing him.
Yeah, that's kind of like a, you know, I thought we were seeded kind of draw, isn't it? I can't imagine that. I mean, even if he's, you know, a little bit off, which I don't think that he is really, not nearly so much as people are trying to make it.
Five-4's lead.
Well, our producer just informed me that they went by rankings. And since he hasn't been playing a lot lately, his ranking wasn't that great. So he wasn't, you know, ranked.
Yeah, they use the
high.
WPA rankings.
Well, that's fun.
Still, you know, that's a story.
Certainly is. Well, what a nice break. 2 balls on the break. Nice straight in shot on the deuce. And he's on the 3.
Yeah, this wasn't ideal.
No.
He's stretching out, and his shirt will be just over that 4. So it looks straight, so he's going to have to draw this back.
And nicely done. Well, I don't see any problems now, Jim. What do you think?
The hard work's been done.
You just be nicely up the table here, 1 rail. And probably just follow just a little bit forward. He wants to leave a little angle here. Take your pick which side of the angle. You like that one better. You know, this is a shot sometimes, he's got too much angle for it now, but he likes to shoot this if he's a little straighter, 2 rails out and come down. Just going 1 there because of the angle, but he's straight in. And that's a break and run out.
And a pretty timely one. Gets him back his 2-rack cushion. That's 6-4. Important to keep Thorsten in his chair for as long as he can, and he knows it.
You know, that's one of the things that's always the hardest to fade. You have to struggle through 2 racks, you struggle through them, you get back to a tie, and then a guy steps up like that, and in very short order, boom, boom, 2 racks ahead again. How many minutes passed? Was that 2 or 3? Sorry.
th rack. If he puts a good break here and clears up, he's going to have Hohmann under pressure. 6-4 his lead. And he's got the wing ball.
And he's missed the scratch.
And he's going to have a shot at the 1.
2 ball. Nice position.
Yeah, it is good position. He can play this and run off 2 cushions up for the 2. This is not a good sign for the Hitman, I'll tell you.
Well, it looks to me like the whole rack is the 2 to the 3, Jim. I don't see anything else that's difficult.
And I don't think that's difficult, Bill.
Well, I don't want you to grab that pin just yet, Jim. Only because I like Thorsten, I say that. Not as a favorite in the match, but just as a person. We'll make Efren earn this. Plus, we get to watch some great pool when he does it. This is a little bit of a shot. And he's going to do something creative, it looks like, too.
Playing it in the corner.
Perfect speed.
That's kind of why I didn't think it was too tough. Even if he did overrun ideal position, he could always play the 2 into the corner pocket. Now he's back in exactly the position he'd like to be.
It's all routine from here. Over to the side rail, back out for the 6 on the side. He ain't even going to do. He's going to draw up there. A little far. Informing the crowd of that. You know, he's quite a showman too, really, in his own way.
Yeah, the Filipinos they just have a different approach to this game. They don't put any pressure on themselves. You see them after they win or lose, and you know, most players, I mean, pressure comes from within. And these guys just don't put any heat on themselves at all. They really got a philosophical viewpoint of competitive pool. And having said that, they compete like tigers.
Well, his speed is just about, oh yeah, not just about, ideal. That's just as good as it needs to get.
Well, Thorsten's in trouble, and he knows it. 7-4 now. And if Efren is getting the measure of the table on the break, Thorsten is in big trouble in this match. And Billy, between you and me, I might have given the edge to Thorsten before they started.
Well, we had kind of talked a little bit about that in a roundabout way, and I think a lot of people have been writing Efren off a bit lately. And, you know, when he played in the Accu-Stats Invitational, the 8-ball on the 10-foot table, he didn't fare so well. And everybody expected him to win that. And when he didn't, a lot of people said, well, that's this, that's that.
He'll be a lot tougher in the 1 pocket. Rack 12, 7-4. Efren Reyes lead over Thorsten Hohmann. He didn't hit that one very good. I don't think anything's going to go down here. And look at the shot, straight welcoming Hohmann to the table.
Straight in on the 1. Yeah, I agree with you. And if Efren does manage to pull off a win here, it's Wednesday. How's he going to be playing on Friday?
Yeah, it's a long, grueling week, U.S. Open. And I'll tell you, the last thing you want to do is get sent over to the left-hand side of the draw sheet.
Well, anytime you look at a double elimination tournament, I don't think you ever want to enter the loser side of the bracket, of course. But if you do have to do it, you definitely don't want to do it before the quarterfinals. If you get in the quarterfinals and you get a loss, you play all the way to the finals. And with these guys, that's no bargain either, really. It's all good players coming to visit on your way up.
Yeah, in the winner's bracket, even looking at the draw for tomorrow, there's so many enticing matches.
Well, it's just getting better and better, isn't it? Today it's all good matches all day long. Well, you got an ideal angle there.
Yeah, 5 to the 6 will be the key. He just wants to weigh up exactly where he wants to leave the white ball. He's got a lot of cue power, Hohmann. Getting pretty straight on this 5 isn't bad, because he can draw this back.
Draw back to the short side of the ball. Or draw back to the side rail and come down. Side rail and come down. Boy, he just slammed that too, didn't he?
Yeah, he's got a lot of cue power, Hohmann, for sure.
Really recreated that angle totally. That was a really nice shot there. This is the other end. He just needs to hit this at a good speed and be right where he wants to be beyond the side pocket.
Jeez, I'll tell you what, that was a mishit.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was a mishit. He just showed you where he intended that cue ball to go, but he didn't want to be anywhere near the side.
No, speed was always a factor in that shot, but it didn't look like to me that the side pocket came into play at all. I don't know whether the cue ball just didn't grab or he didn't get anything on it.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to. Yeah, that was a nerve testing shot too.
Well, he gets to think a little bit here too. It's a shot he'll make, but it's a toughie compared to what he could have had straight in.
Yeah, grabs it. It was an important run out, that one. I think Thorsten knew it. There's no way he could let Efren get 8-4 in front, but 7-5, still anybody's match.
Well, 7-5 with him breaking for sure. Let's see how hard he hits him. I mean, he's been pounding the ball off the break, and he came up dry on the last one where he hit it hard. And Efren hasn't been hitting the balls nearly as hard and coming up with much better results, I think, in the last 3 breaks, right?
Yeah, we'll see what Thorsten does here. I'll be curious to see if he plays the cue ball over on the left-hand side again. Left-hand side as we look, his right. He hasn't been too successful there.
Well, do you think that's a coefficient of the side of the table or the speed that he's breaking it?
Both. Both. The only 2 things you can alter.
True.
7-5.
Took some speed off and cut it a little bit. Made a ball. And look at the 1 ball. And look at the 2. Oh.
Yeah, he can get through to this 1. He wouldn't have minded it going in either. That was a good break. You just get the feeling there's a few more chapters to be written in this match.
You know, when you say some of the things that you said just a minute ago about the Filipinos' attitude, you know, all of them. The one thing I see, when they are in a match, I don't see any of them looking away from the table. They actually watch what's going on the table most of the time, it looks like. You know, they're fans of the game.
They are fans of the game. That's a good way to put it.
It seems to keep them humble, though. I mean, in the game, where their tempers don't get the better of them, as some other players who are much more of the, you know, the fighting aspect. They can't even look at the table when the other guy shoots.
And students of the game too. That was a tricky little shot. Anytime a ball is so deep into a pocket, it's never easy.
Well, he's hit that shot pretty well, too. And this rack lays wide open at this point. Good effort. Well, I guess he's just going to draw it back a little bit. Yep. Really not much in this. Same thing here. Pretty much hit and stop. Maybe pull it back an inch or two. A little bit of angle coming up there to the 8 ball on the side, if he likes. And he went straight in, so that means he'll probably play it in the other side. Might even play it in the corner for that matter. Really doesn't matter either way. He's going to take a look and see what he likes best. You know, there's very little wasted motion in his table approach either. If you notice, he doesn't look at every shot that way, only the ones that are critical.
All the Germans, very professional in their approach. I mean, Ralph Souquet I know very well. Ralph is a very good friend of mine, and Ralph has stayed with me on occasion, and his whole life is exactly the way that he is around the pool table. It's measured and methodical and calculating and German precision.
And he comes nicely into the angle on the line with that approach.
Yeah, nice break and run out there from Hohmann. Pulls one more back. Just one rack down now. 7-6 to Efren. But Hohmann's got the break in 14.
You know, when you speak of Ralph, I've watched him now for many years, and watching him move around the table and his discipline around the table, it's hard to find anything negative to say about his approach. I mean, he just is so, what you just called methodical, basically. And it's, if you wanted to emulate someone and learn the game and the movement of the moving around the table, the game, looking at the table, making sure your angles are right, he's an ideal guy.
Any German player. Any German player. You know, to pick one is almost unfair. They're all, you know, great role models for pool.
Right.
And look at the Moscone Cup. Look how the Europeans have really risen to the challenge. In the early days of the Moscone Cup, it was owned by the Americans. Oh, not so much anymore. Rack 14, it's a 7-6 lead to Efren Reyes. Well, good news, bad news. Nothing down, but no shot for Efren either.
Yeah, he's hooked on the one. But this does lean towards the strength that you mentioned earlier. He moves very well. Let's see what he hands Hohmann back.
No bank there. The 3 takes the bank into the other side pocket away.
And the cue ball goes down table rather nicely here. But the 1 ball is going to be heading towards the pocket if he does that, unless he shoots it right into the 8. And he really has very little cover at that end of the table with the cue ball.
Yeah, while Thorsten is looking at this shot, we want to send our well wishes out to Danny DiLiberto. He's in a hospital in Buffalo, and he so desperately wanted to be here, and I've never been to a U.S. Open without him. But all I can say is, you know, our thoughts and prayers are with you, Danny. Get well, and we look forward to seeing you real soon. We sure miss you.
Absolutely. And Danny told me at the beginning of the week to say hi to everybody. He also, I found out yesterday, was given the word that he might be able to leave today. He might be able to leave the hospital today. He's in pain, but he's doing just a little bit better. And that was good news to hear.
Yeah, not bad. There's no point in Thorsten attacking from here. No rewards. Can't get shape to the 2, so why take the risks? But got a couple safety options. In either one of them, I see him putting a little distance between the cue ball and the 1. He can just slice the 1 to the right-hand cushion and run back up table, and in an ideal situation, get behind cover. Try and lay that 1 down near the middle diamond on the bottom cushion.
Yeah, the 2 ball will be tracking 2 rails back towards the 5 probably, right?
Yeah, you just don't hit this too thick. He didn't quite hit it hard enough.
He didn't hit the 5 either. If he hit that 5, it would have laid right behind the 2.
Yeah, this might be worth a shot. If for no other reason, the cue ball is going to be heading back up that end of the table where the 2 is. Efren will have a look at this, and in his mind, he'll calculate the odds, whether it's worth the risk or not.
You know, I really can't tell from the camera angle we have whether the 2 easily passes that 5, but it sure looks like it does into the upper left-hand corner pocket.
Caught it thick. And now has he got the cue ball behind the 2?
No, he's left. Well, as soon
yeah,
as I say that, it
close.
looks like it is.
It might be just a jump shot here, just jumping over the edge of the 2, very close. Efren would like to have made that one.
Well, this is the kind of shot that if you do have to jump it, you're going to jump it with your full cue. Because you will be just jumping the edge of it. This has got a good possibility if it is jumpable.
And that's assuming he can't see it. The way he's looking at it, he may be able to see it. We'll know the way he plays the shot.
Whether he jacks up or not. He's jacked up a little bit. Let's see how hard he hits it. No, he could see it all the way.
Yeah, he's going to be on the 2 to the side.
Nicely on the 2 to the side, by the way. Wow, that was some shot. That looked pretty easy to everybody. But that was no simple shot to get the position that he got.
Yeah, half a roll with the cue ball, and he would have been snookered, but it's a game of inches and half inches.
Well, the angle he got with that 2 in the side allowed him to get down here on the 3 to where he has angle to get down to the 4 now. And it wasn't a great effort for him to be able to do that. That was a really, really nice shot on the 1. Well, shouldn't have any problems here getting back to the 5. And his angle's nice to play the 6 in the corner. I mean, if the cue ball was right here where he's at right now for the 6, that would be just fine. So this is pretty much an all-speed shot right here. Actually, you can play it for either corner, but I like going down to this one on the lower left-hand corner. It's what he's chosen as well.
Yeah, pretty straightforward here, Bill. This has got 7-7 written all over it.
Yeah, I think 7-7's in the books. But it'll be fun to watch how he thinks it through. Hit and stop, perhaps. And just tag it and come just a little bit over for the 8. Leaving yourself a little angle is the only thing you have to do here. Well, both Reyes and Hohmann waste no time getting to the shot. Did you notice he moved that chalk out of his way? That wasn't chalk that he was going to chalk up with. He just didn't want to see it on the end rail.
Yeah, I see a lot of players do that. This was a nice clearance, though, after the miss from Efren. Very tidy work by Thorsten Hohmann. And if you were looking for something that was going to be edge of your seat here in the Accu-Stats arena, welcome, 7-7. And now we're at the business end of this particular match.
Well, Jim, have you noticed that there's a full house out here?
There was for the Immonen Bustamante match as well. So I think, you know, given that a lot of the big names are coming into action today, you're going to see a few more people coming out. It gives it a nicer atmosphere too. And you start packing places and you see all these bums in seats, the players feel a little bit more appreciated.
Bum being an English term. Not bums off the street.
Rumps in seats?
There you go.
Backsides in seats?
I know you don't use the A word because you're an actual television commentator, so.
I've been bleeped a few times. So here we go. Coming down the backstretch. Now a race to 4. And Hohmann has just assumed the role of favorite given that he's breaking.
Well, let's see if he gets a measure of the break this time. Again, took speed off of it and cut it a little bit. Made a ball, but unfortunately didn't get anything on that one. Anything but hooked, in other words. You know, what do you do if you don't want to get into a moving game with a player and you're faced with this starting out? I mean,
the balls dictate. The balls dictate what you do. It's just, you know, when you're confronted with a situation where you can attack, you know, against someone like Efren, it's probably better advised, you know, take your chances as opposed to trying getting into a cat and mouse game with him, because more times than not, you'll be the mouse.
well, I don't see anything I like from a push. And the push always lets that incoming player make the decision. That's the part that I hate most about that. I'd almost kick here. He's looking at something. But if he can kick and get safe and force Efren's hand, he'll keep the momentum with that. He's going to push.
Yeah, he's leaving the right edge of the one, so it's not a full ball snooker. Efren will have a look at this. One problem, if you do try and play that one off the side cushion and over towards the top right corner, you got to watch the double kiss.
Well,
so he's got to be a little careful here, and if Efren turns it back to you, you know it's not easy. So we'll see what Thorsten had in mind. But he's looking at that side cushion, and he knows the speed that he plays this, he's got to be careful because that one's going to be tracking over towards that top right corner.
absolutely.
Mind you, he may make it too. Yeah, the double kiss. That was always on the cards.
And he laid on top of the 3, so he got a little bit of a roll there.
Yeah, look at Efren. He doesn't even want to get out of his chair.
Well, if it lays the way I see it, he's got a safety here.
Yeah, but he also needs a step ladder.
Shoots pretty good over top of balls is the rule I remember. He's wanting to come up between that 4 and the 7 with the cue ball and send the 1, 2 rails down table. Well, he overhit it. Came on the other side of it too.
Chance here for Thorsten. The billiard onto the 4. He's having a look at the combination as well.
I was going to say, I like the combination a little better than the billiard in this particular instance. Cue ball is going to lay, or the 1 ball is going to lay right there where the 4 is if he makes it.
Yeah, he's looking at playing this off the cushion and onto the 4. Cue ball is going to be at the same end of the table, so he knows if he gets this, he'd have to be very unlucky not to have landed on the 1.
Well, he should be able to adjust this a little bit because Efren didn't get quite on the cushion with the cue ball, so he's got room to work.
He's won the last 3 racks in a row.
Yeah, Reyes didn't want to lose this rack.
Yeah, this is a good shot. This is a very good shot. And again, a knowledgeable crowd here in attendance. They recognize that. Yeah, Hohmann has wrested the initiative away from Efren here. It doesn't look like he's prepared to give it back too soon.
Well, with the position of the 3 ball being where it is, he's going to have an easy shot to the 4 too. So the big part of this rack is just getting from the 2 to the 3.
Well, that's not Thorsten's best effort. It's not bad, but
he's got an angle to get up on the other side of that, go between the 3 and the 9 if he wanted to. Go that way. Come around it if he wants to load it up. He's going to be hitting it that thin. Come around 2 rails if he wants to draw. This is all in choice.
Underhit it. Underhit it. Not bad.
Boy, I'll tell you what, I don't know if I like that. I mean, the 3's easy, but what do you do with the 5?
Just across the table. Straight across the table and back over for the 5. This is all right.
Stay right about where the 3 ball is now with the cue ball?
It wasn't what he intended, but the shot still lays there. Just across the table twice and back over the left-hand side. This is not a problem.
Real close to the cushion there with the cue.
The cushion? A little close to the cushion.
Oh, I thought. I wanted to say first day with the new lips, but I know the guy that said that.
That's my line.
Yeah, no,
because I'm the guy.
Yeah, that's kind of like stealing guitar licks. You don't want to be jamming with somebody like Clapton and you stole all this stuff.
Oh, he just caught he caught the top end of the 7. He didn't intend to, and that's left him long and straight. Now you want to test? You've just left yourself a very stern examination of cueing with this shot.
Well, I think he's going to make 2 tough shots in a row here.
Wow. That's an excellent recovery.
And actually, he got down far enough that this may not be all that difficult. Not nearly as difficult as the last one.
No, he just got over the big hurdle right there.
You know, he took on a little more with that jacking up like that just to make sure he didn't have to hit 2 bad ones in a row. That's tough. Good discipline.
Yeah, not trying to do too much with the cue ball there. He knows an open shot on the 9. He'll get this 95% of the time.
And that's going to give him the lead, Jim.
And 4 racks in a row. You're totally reversed to 7-4 deficit.
And looking at Efren in the chair, I don't think he's too thrilled with this. I don't see how he could be really either, but
yeah, good shot. Good finish from Thorsten Hohmann after knocking in that 6. There's no way he wanted to let this one slip away. And 7 to Reyes, 8 now to Hohmann. Just got his nose in front. A long, difficult 6 proved the shot that won the rack. Another look. Yeah, it wiped its feet. Still a pretty good shot given the circumstances. Thorsten striding over to the breaking end of the table. He won the first rack. He was had 1-0. That's the biggest lead he's had.
Well, let's see what the measure of the break is here.
8-7 in his favor. Gets the wing ball, 1 into the side. And he needs,
he'll have a shot on the 2.
He needs that 8 to slow down, and it does. 3 balls off the break. He's got the right angle on the 2 to come down for the 3. This is an ominous looking sign for Efren now.
Yeah, it looks like Hohmann's off to the races here. These balls are all very close. 7 to the 8 is the only distance, and they're both lying on the diagonal. So 2 to the 3 is the shot in the rack. Now, I can't tell from our camera angle, but it looks to me like he's going to have to play this 2 on the side. Come to the end rail and back up for the 3. Both those pass.
Yeah, nicely played.
Apparently so.
Nicely played.
And he's gotten a little bit of angle here too, so it'll be easy for him to get on the 6. Well, the 6 up in the corner, just bounce off the rail and come back for the 7, and he'll be just fine. He really wants to leave a little angle here. So just over to the rail and out. Practically hit and stop here is just fine too. But I'd rather be a little closer to the 8 ball. He's going to draw over to the side rail. Very nicely done. And he's left himself in a little angle here.
And he should be able to reach this. May have to get over to the table right-handed. If not, might have to use the rake.
Yeah, I think he'd like to go 1 rail.
No, he's all right.
No? Yeah, he is okay.
Comfortably.
Just threw it back. Good speed too, leaning over the table like that.
Well, what a turnaround. 7-4, Efren led at one stage. And all of a sudden now, 9-7 in favor of Thorsten Hohmann. The Hitman got a little air under his sails. And he'll be breaking here for the 5th time in a row.
Efren's just sitting there.
Patiently waiting, and he knows. He knows he's just got to wait for a chance. Try and impact the result. But if Hohmann keeps playing like this,
he may not get to play again.
No, he'll be playing just tomorrow.
I think he'd like to play in a little bit more in this match.
(9-7). Thorsten Hohmann over Efren Bata Reyes. Two world champions face off here in the Accu-Stats arena.
Well, he's made the two. And the one's tracking to where 8 balls stopped. He's got a shot on the one, Jim.
Yeah, he does. The balls are paying attention right now to Hohmann.
This is a little longer than his last shot and a little bit trickier getting to the 3 ball than what he had to do last time. And it looks as if, really, again, it's the first shot of the rack that's the key shot in the rack. The 1 to the 3 is it. He really needs, if he was right where he's at right now and the 1 ball were off the table, this rack would be in control. He's missed badly.
Yeah, and he got away with it. Missed badly and got lucky. Again, Efren slow to get out of his chair.
I don't think he's wanting to play safe here either. He'd like to shoot. After watching what he just went through, I don't think he wants to give that cue ball back to him, but he's going to have to do it. Maybe. From up here, it's so hard to tell. But with the angle he's got, I don't see what else he can do but play safe. Just bring the cue ball down 2 rails for cover on the end rail. What do you think?
Tell you in a sec. God, he tried to cut it in. He tried to cut it in. I don't know whether he's hit it. It looks like he has.
Yeah, but the bad news is
you can spin this off the cushion and get it.
Yeah, it sure looks that way.
Well, I'll tell you, it didn't look like there was a lot of pocket past the 7 there.
Not from up here anyway, no. Hohmann's definitely got a rail first. And if he just hits the 7, even a third of the 7, he's going to still be on a good line to pocket the 3. I think you got to go for that as hard as you can. And you don't really have to hit the ball all that hard. Nice smooth stroke here. Should get you results. It's a little tricky, but it'll go. And it'll glance that 7 for sure.
Yeah, ball in hand for Efren.
Wow.
Ball in hand to Reyes.
That was a big mistake right there. He hit that with total side spin too. Did you notice that? About 9 o'clock English. You know, that's a shot where you want to hit it a little slower and hit it down around 7 o'clock or 6:30. You know, something to dig into the cushion and spin out. That gets you deeper into the, you know, 7 ball when you come off of the 1. Let's see it again.
Another look at it right here. Just trying to spin that.
Yeah, he used side spin.
And that was a mistake that brought Efren out of his chair with a little bit more initiative. A little bit more bounce.
Well, that instant replay is wonderful, isn't it? Slow motion, the whole bit. You can see so much with that.
I'd like to see it used even to call hits, good and bad hits. We get a look at something in slow-mo, we can slow it right down, and we can tell you exactly whether it's a good hit or a bad hit. I mean, they use the TV cameras in most other sports now, apart from baseball. Well, to call home runs, I guess they do.
Well, you know, we brought this up in the commentary yesterday we did together. The only bad thing is you can't do it on every table.
Yeah, and I think that's the reason they don't. Because, you know, all of a sudden everyone's going to want to play on the TV table.
And unfortunately, that piece of equipment is not cheap. So it might just be a while before the sport of pool can afford to have television cameras and instant replay on every table.
Well, this is the 17th rack. Looks like going back to Efren. And it's been a while since he's won a rack. 5 in a row, Hohmann won.
Yeah, Efren's got to win 2 to get back to even with him.
He's halfway there, capitalizing on Hohmann's mistake. We'll see if Efren can find the sweet spot for the break.
Well, Hohmann got 5, you said there?
He got 5 in a row.
A run of 5. Well, Efren needs a run of 3. I'm sure he's hoping that he remembers how he hit that ball so that he can get a good break here.
(9-8), rack 18, and the 1 rack lead in favor of Thorsten Hohmann. Nothing down. Look at the shot for Thorsten. Yeah, he swings his cue like he wants to hit it, but helpless. A long, lonely walk back to your chair.
Well, he's got a nice angle to get to the 2 here. 2 to the 3, no problem, and 3 getting down table looks like it'll be fairly easy. Once he's on the 4 ball.
I'm not too sure. Natural angle here with the cue ball so near the side cushion. The natural angle looks like a 5 may be in the way of taking the cue ball down for the 2.
Yeah, I think he's got to spin it.
I know he's got a possible 2-9 combination if he gets right behind it on the right-hand side.
Yeah, I didn't look at that. Came all the way down to the 6. He was playing your shot.
Yeah, he was going to play the 2-9. Efren probably didn't think he was going to be getting out of his chair so soon. And I hope the tip's still on his cue. He just dropped his cue, Efren.
That's a testament to how tight these pockets are. Look at how.
Yeah, real quick, another look at Thorsten's miss here. And again, I think that 5, he caught it a little thick. That was a bad miss. Efren has to make him pay for that. And then 1 good shot here will do wonders. Look out.
What does he back cut this into the upper right hand corner pocket and head over to the side rail?
He's standing behind the line. I can't see where he's got a lot of choice. Doesn't look like the 2 goes into the top left. Maybe it does go by the 5 into the left corner. But he's got to attack from here. He's 1 rack down, and he's just had his opponent miss a pretty easy shot. So timing is everything. Good shot. Good shot.
Very nice. for everybody out there that's learning to play this game, you'll notice Efren really rolled that ball at a pocket speed as opposed to trying to do anything fancy with that cue ball. He took what he could get.
You know, it's been a pretty high quality match. There haven't been a lot of mistakes. This is one of those matches. Sorry, Billy. This is one of those matches that I think you just want to make sure that you don't make the last mistake.
Absolutely. I was going to say this is the kind of match you'd pay to see. I mean, this is a great match.
Most of the people in here did.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we might have privileged seats up here in the box. He's going to draw this, it looks like. Now he's going to follow it. That's the right way to go. Don't think he wanted to be over that 9 as much as he is. He'll just float out towards the middle of the table, play this in the side. Do you think that?
Yep. Just float it out towards the middle.
He likes that. Gives him great angle too. Just drift over a little bit of draw, stun this shot a little bit. And it's 9-9.
And who do you bet on now? 9-9 and Bata Reyes breaking in rack number 19.
Well, it's never more so true than now. It's all about the break from here on out.
Yeah, what he wouldn't do to have 2 good breaks now.
You know, one of the things that Danny jokes around about is when he says you make 2 and 3 balls on the break, wouldn't it be great if you could bank, you know, the 2nd and 3rd ball for another rack when you came up dry? And in this particular instance, boy, I'll tell you, that's exactly the case. If you were guaranteed you were going to make a ball in this break and the next break, it's much too close to have this.
9-9. Everybody being treated to a great match here from the Accu-Stats arena.
He's made 2 on the break, Jim. 3. Wow.
Look at this. Look at this. Does he have a shot at the 2? It's close.
I think
it's very close.
I think he does.
3 balls on the break.
And this doesn't resemble the weak break that people talk about. This is as good as any human can hit him. You know, a little bit of trickiness here in the 6 to the 7 is easy, but the position on the 7 to the 8, he's got to be underneath of that ball. Play the 7 in the lower left-hand corner pocket. Just draw up here.
I think that's exactly what he's going to do. Leave himself a nice little angle to stun over. Well, that looks perfect.
Does it? Looks like he got a little straight to me, but maybe he does have angle. You're good with that camera angle. I mean, you can see that that angle's there. That's good.
Even straight, though, he can draw this off the side cushion he's cueing over. Oh, he underhit this. He underhit that. He underhit that by about 1.5 feet. Wow, what a big shot this is, and what a bigger moment. Yeah, he had this rack at his mercy.
Well, I don't think you'll have a problem with this. I think he can make it. The big thing here is just the speed of the cue ball. He didn't want to do this with the 9 ball. Middle ball and just hit it with a little pace. Not a lot. Just like that.
Wow, what a shot. What a shot from the great Reyes.
Got the crutch out for that.
Makes the 9 and gets to the hill. It really has been a roller coaster ride for both these players. You know, 7-4 at one stage. Efren was in front. Thorsten won 5 in a row to go 9-7 up, and all of a sudden it's Efren now biting back. He's won the last 3. He'll be breaking for the match right here.
Yeah, I remember when I was playing golf, one of the things that people used to say a lot is, if you had to have somebody sink a 3-foot putt for your life, who would it be? And the answer in my time period of playing golf was Jack Nicklaus. If anybody had to shoot that 8-ball shot for your life, I think I'll let this guy do it.
10-9. What a great match this has been between two former world champions. Efren with the break, rack 20. Well, he's not going to have a shot at the 1. Well, I say that. Nothing easy, but he does have a shot. He does have a chance.
Yep.
Well, if he'd have kept that cue ball in the middle of the table here, how would it look?
How would you like it if the 6 ball was down here on the middle diamond and he was shooting this? That 6 is more of a problem than the position on the 1, I think, in this shot.
Right now, Efren is focusing all his concentration on one shot. One shot right here. And if he gets it, Thorsten Hohmann maybe getting up to shake his hand not long after.
He's out on the edge of the ball, too. It's not even bothering him.
What a shot. Use the colors over on the other side. And now all he's got to do is clear the 9. He's got the 2 over the side. Just got to get back out into the middle of the table. The 5 doesn't pass the 6, so he's going to have to play a combination. This is far from straightforward.
Do you think he'll go 2 rails or 3 rails here to get to the 3 ball?
Yeah, he'll get his line. That's exactly what he's looking at. And once you've got the right line, and Mika Immonen is as good as anybody with shots like this, then you can be a little light or a little heavy, as long as you're on the right line.
He wanted to get that angle out there.
Yeah, he was a little short there. He wanted to be a little closer. Yeah, let's watch this great shot on the 1, too, and using those colors on the left-hand side to hold for the 2. Now, 58-year-old eyes, no problem. And he may get right on the 5 here. If this tracks over to the cushion, wow, he's on the 5 as well. What a shot. What a shot.
The crowd just went wild on that. That was a great hit.
Well, Hohmann put him under pressure. But like every great player, he responded.
Like dynamite.
This was a nice shot, too. He didn't have a full pocket, but down between the cushion and the 6. But look at the position from the cue ball to the 5. Stupendous.
He's going to draw over the side rail here. No. I didn't think he'd go close to the corner like that. He's in punch. He has no fear right now. He may just draw this back for the 9. Like it's nothing. You can stand up and shake hands now, Thorsten.
Great effort, this. Terrific effort. He saw his buddy Bustamante. He saw Bustamante go down to Mika Immonen. There was no way he was going to follow suit. That is a great win. A character-building win for Efren Reyes. 11-9, he beats Thorsten Hohmann. He stays in the winner's bracket. There'll be more action coming up. Stay with us. Billy, I hope you come up and join me again. I know we've got Alex Pegalayan and Santos Sambahan coming up around 7 o'clock. So
what a great match that's going to be.
Look forward to seeing you all there.